Welcome once again to the most illustrious, most dignified, yet unrefined podcast in the history of podcasts, in the history of mankind, in the history of our planet, Group Chat After Dark. Introducing now my wonderful, delightful, and pitiful co-host, Mr. Maggum and Banner. How are you today?
It's fair. I'm well. You forgot that this is the least filling podcast on the internet. So we have that going for us. Least filling. It still tastes great, but it is the least filling.
It's true. You know, it's less filling, but there are less carbs.
Right.
Fewer calories, fewer carbs. You're going to be hungry later, but it's satisfying.
It takes like eight of them filling. To get you really into it. Really feeling good.
Since we only do 11 shows a year, 8, you're really going to plow right through it. It's like bar. Binging. Yeah. So anyway, it is now November. We plowed through October. It was a wonderful time. I got a question for you, follow up from our last show. Did you indeed go down to your door every time the doorbell rang and say, I don't have any candy, get the fuck out of here?
I did not. So instead of having the disease-ridden children of my neighborhood come up to my house and spread airborne germs into my home, I forced them to sit on I sat in the driveway and forced them to grab their own candy out of a bucket.
Was your bucket several feet away from where you were?
Yes. So
you sat there, I'm assuming about 6 feet behind the bucket, and shouted at the children, "Nice costume."
Yes, I did.
Happy Halloween.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. Did you at any point, and like, let's say there was a lull between trick-or-treaters, you get up and get some like Hershey Kisses out of the bowl and start pelting them at the children?
That would have been a lot of fun. I did not do that. I went and got a beer. And then about 20 minutes later, all the kids were gone. So I left.
Okay. Well, I'm disappointed that you didn't just tell the children that you didn't have any candy. Get the fuck out of there.
They didn't want to hear about the fact that they're being commercialized for big corporations.
Yeah. Were you handing out literature? Like
I should have little like mini Bibles, you know,
little pamphlets for children.
Yeah.
Were you also handing out literature regarding Guy Fawkes Day?
I should have. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
If you think Halloween is great, wait till you hear about this.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your mind on November 5th.
That's right. Guy Fawkes Day, the new holiday coming to America, 2022.
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully we can personally champion Guy Fawkes Day being celebrated in America on a wide scale.
I will write a letter to the governor
now,
on his way out of office.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, maybe as his final act before he's replaced by the new governor next year, maybe his final act can be signing Guy Fawkes Day into
I like it.
An official holiday recognized in our state. And let me ask you this question, Michael. Excuse me, Mr. Banner. I forgot what I was going to ask you, so we're going to move on now.
Well, how was your Halloween?
Oh, it was great. I dressed
up like Woody. Did you throw up because a razor blade was in your candy?
I did not. I had a few apples. I was afraid there would be razor blades in the apples, but
people gave out apples. What kind of lame?
No, nobody gave out apples. Nobody gave out apples. I did not make the entire loop trick or treating. We had some people over as well. Another couple and their little girl, and the gentleman that was with he had injured his foot and had surgery, and he was on crutches walking the neighborhood, and I was like, and my little boy had a cold, and he started coughing. It was getting pretty chilly, and his cough was sounding pretty gross, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the guy on crutches and the coughing baby back to the house. You guys, finish up, take the girls around. So we made it about half we did our loop, and then they went on down.
There you go.
So then on the walk back to the house, it was me my buddy on crutches who was dressed up. He was dressed up as a shark attack victim. His
Nice.
wife was dressed as a lifeguard, and his daughter was dressed as a shark.
Well played.
Me dressed as Woody from Toy Story, and our love child, my son, dressed up like Buzz Lightyear. Just the three of us walking back to my house, and of course at that point everybody's handing out candy, and I was like, well, they think we're a couple, and this is our kid. So
nice. I like it.
I did nothing as I've done with you in the past when you and I have been alone with my daughter. I do nothing to dissuade people from thinking that whatever man I'm with, is my partner, and this is our love child. So
sometimes you just got to go with the flow.
I have no shame. So I want everybody to know that this is our adopted child, and that we love them, and we love each other.
Love is love, everyone out there in mainstream society.
Love is love. Well, Michael, it's coming up on the holiday season. We are coming up on Thanksgiving, which means actually as soon as Halloween's over, people jump right into Christmas, and Thanksgiving's kind of an afterthought.
Fair. Yeah.
So I'm running out of ideas for like a stocking stuffer. I need to get my wife something, so get my kids something. What could I put in their stocking that would just really make their Christmas or holiday or whatever you want? If I'm giving somebody a gift, what should it be?
Well, last year I would have said the fantastic folks over at Bombas could give you a pair of socks, and then they would also donate a pair of socks to people in need in homeless shelters.
Oh, that sounds good.
However,
Bombas
is trash, so go with the Scrub Daddy. Scrub Daddy is the #1 selling product in the history of Shark Tank, and it is superior to any kitchen sponge you might ever find. It has both a scrubby side with an abrasive surface and a more gentle side for like your nonstick pans. So all you have to do if you want to go scrub off the grease from your bacon, you use the scrubby side and then flip it over to rinse out your egg pan, and you have a little softer touch.
Or apparently you could use it as a shower loofah.
You could. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could.
Yeah. Unless you got like a lot of barnacles on your butt or something, you could use the abrasive side.
You could also look into Scrub Mommy. Scrub Mommy might be a little gentler. Scrub Mommy is all gentle. She has no harder scrubbing side.
Well, Michael, this sounds like a really good gift I'd like to give. If only there was a way to get it at somewhat of a discount.
There is a great way to get a discount.
Really?
If you use the promo code.
Tell me now.
Use the promo code GCHAT. Click the microphone on the top right. Type in promo code GCHAD, and you will receive. Not only will you receive shipping, but you will receive an order in the mail.
Wait a minute. So you mean if I use that promo code, I get free shipping and some percentage off?
No, you get shipping at regular cost plus whatever your order costs.
So the promo code will give me, I'll pay standard shipping on my order, and I'll also pay the full price, unless, let's say, the website was having its own sale.
Yes, if you found another promo code, you might be able to type that one in, but you usually can't do two promo codes at once. So
true, yeah.
You should definitely not look at those on the internet.
Okay, so just use GCHAD, and you'll get it at the same price everybody gets it for.
Yes.
Okay.
Possibly more.
Well, that's great. So what you're saying to me is, I go there, I click the microphone button at the top left, and I say promo code GCHAD, and I get nothing off my order. I get standard shipping fee, and then I've got a gift for my wife, my daughter, and my son, and they're all going to love them the same.
Yes. And as a valued listener of this podcast, we really wanted to help you out. And so we went the extra mile, got the percentages off. You get 0% off your order. It's a great deal. And if you wanted to save a little bit of money, you could just get one Scrub Daddy and only allow your children to use one side or the other.
That would work well because children are known for their listening and following of direction.
That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you. Once again, you have just done a marvelous job on an ad read for a sponsor that really isn't sponsoring this show. And I want to thank you for the time and effort that you put in.
Our listeners are the most important things in my life. So I feel like we got to take care of them.
Well, it is a time of year that normally we reflect and are thankful for things. And as you have just pointed out, you are thankful for our listeners. I am thankful for the effort you put into these ad reads. But I also really like to buy stuff. So I want to give thanks one day and then just be a carnivorous, drooling consumer the next, and just spend as much money as I can on deals.
I like it.
Day.
Yeah, deals, overpriced things.
Yeah, but I love spending way too much money on a bunch of crap at once, thinking I'm getting a great deal on it. I don't want to do it just one day. They should make the whole month like a Black Friday event.
You know, that's a really good idea. I'm sure no other companies have thought of this before.
Nobody's come up with that. They should do Black Friday before Black Friday. You know, I've joked in the past that pretty soon, the day after Black Friday is going to start hyping, like the whole year will be leading up to, you can't miss these Black Friday deals, our pre-Black Friday. Like as soon as Black Friday is over, they're already hyping the next year's deals. And the whole year is prep for Black Friday. And then by Black Friday, they don't have anything left. So, but I digress. That we're not talking about Black Friday. We're going to check in with Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass on this show.
It was a year ago in September that we released our Next Box episode, and we briefly touched on Game Pass. I think that our little group of non-important people have invested all in Game Pass. So we spent about a year with it, and thought at this time of reflection we would look back and see what we thought about Game Pass.
We're in over a year at this point, because we started Game Pass right when pandemic times hit, because
that's right.
Like, well, we can't go anywhere. We can't really see one another, so we should bring back Xbox Night. And if we're going to do that, rather than spending a bunch of money on games, we should just do this Game Pass thing. And I think we hit it right about the time it was starting to really kind of take off, and people were really starting to see the value in it, because it's been around. It launched in June of 2017. So it's been around a while. And I remember trying a free trial of it at one point. I played Farming Simulator because I'd always wanted to play it, but I didn't want to spend money on it. And I was like, well, that was okay. But I didn't obviously go with the subscription until pandemic hit. And I would say, because I think at this point, our Xbox core group, we're all Ultimate subscribers, aren't we? Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that gives you a lot. To me, it's $15 a month. And you get a lot of value there, because you get everything that's on Game Pass, plus you get the EA Play games. So you get a lot of like Madden and FIFA and Need for Speed and things, like a lot of kind of top tier EA stuff. And usually pretty recent versions of. It's not like Madden 2015 or something that you're playing. It's usually the most recent version and the version before it. Same thing with all the sports titles.
And now they're up to just straight releasing brand new games.
Especially on the Xbox side, the Game Pass side. They have a lot of day one releases. We've been enjoying Back 4 Blood.
Yes, that's been
incredibly frustrating.
It's a fun
incredibly
game.
Difficult, but very fun. That was a day one release, which, that's huge to be able to, this is not necessarily a Game Pass perk, but for me, one of the things I enjoy the most now about next generation gaming is being able to preload the game. So that way, let's say, if I were still a man young enough to want to stay up and play a game at midnight the night it comes out, I wouldn't have to download it for 45 minutes to an hour before. Being able to preload, even if I've done it with games that I know I'm going to buy a physical copy of. Preload it, you don't have to pay for it, and then you just pop it in when the disc gets there, or whenever you go pick it up, and you're ready to go, rather than waiting for the install and the update. I love the preload thing, so that's just
it works really well with these day one patches too, where they're releasing these unfinished games.
That's a whole nother soapbox, but I have really enjoyed the Game Pass. I've got, let's see, right now via the cool website I discovered right before this. It's called GamePassCounter.com. Right now, there are 498 unique games on Xbox Game
Wow.
Pass, which is pretty cool. I'm assuming that spans everything because with Ultimate, the Game Pass Ultimate tier, you get all the Xbox Game Pass for console, Xbox Game Pass for PC, and EA Play. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of lumping everything in there, and it breaks some of the numbers down. Like 38 games were recently added. There's 62 games coming soon. 8 games are leaving soon. 414 console games, 403 PC games, 312 cloud games, which you can play on your phone or any mobile device. 136 from EA Play. 107 from EA Desktop, which I don't know what that is.
That's for your PC.
63 games backward in a backward compatibility library. And then it breaks it down into even more. Like there's 6 games that are game previews and 6 original Xbox games, 59 Xbox 360 games. And it breaks it down. It's a pretty cool website. And it gives you a list of all these. It's just big tiles with numbers. You click it and each little subcategory, it'll break down the games. So somebody's putting a lot of work into that, which is pretty cool. It's not a Microsoft website. But I just found that. Oh, it even breaks down the perks you get with each membership. Anyway, some fanboys out there are having a lot of fun with this website, and it's pretty informative. But
Yeah,
that's a
and
lot of games.
What you're saying is like 490 of those games are absolute garbage.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you don't want to play. As a friend of ours will say, it's a bunch of anime crap. But you know, that I've played a lot of stuff solo.
Yeah.
Stuff that I played back in the day, or new versions of things that I remember playing as a kid or like as a teenager. Just and things that I'm like, I'd like to go through that again, or I'd like to try this new version of it, or I just try random indie games that show up sometimes. I'm like, that seems like something I might like. A game that I played not too long ago was called Echo Generation, and it's like this kind of old school. It was a lot like, it reminded me of Stranger Things. There is a Stranger Things.
Is it like 8-bit?
Yeah, it's 8-bit style. To me, it was heavily inspired by Stranger Things. It just didn't have the license of that, because the characters and the locations and what they're doing, they all seem very, very familiar. But I know that they had a Stranger Things game on Game Pass not too long ago. I don't know if it's still there, but it was a cool little kind of quest type thing. You got to run here and find this to do that to do, and it was like, it didn't take long to get through, but it was something just kind of goofy and fun, and something I didn't have to put a ton of time into. And as a middle-aged father, I appreciate a game like that that I can have some fun with without grinding. There were no microtransactions in it, but yeah, you gotta kind of sift through the overwhelming amount of games on Game Pass to find some of those nuggets of gold. But there is a lot of good stuff on there. Like I've got my Xbox on right now.
Yeah, I played a game not that long ago. I'm trying to figure out the game, what the title was. It was a racing game, and it was like pretty minimalist style. I'm trying to find the name.
While you're looking for that one, I've got 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 games on my Xbox right now just from Game Pass.
Wow.
Which is a fair, and some of them I don't play as often, but like Back for Blood, we do play. I've got Halo, the Master Chief Collection, which we all got into there for a little bit. Maybe it'll make a comeback. Flight Simulator, which I haven't played in months. I've got Overcooked 2. I know you love that game. Surgeon Simulator 2.
Oh, I've played that one. Yeah. The game I was talking about is called Hot Shot Racing. It's pretty fun. It's like,
yeah.
Did you ever play that game at the bowling alley back in the day, like Daytona Rally or whatever?
Yeah, like Cruising World and all those.
That's what it reminds me of. Yeah.
It's definitely in that style, and it did a good job. I played it for a while too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And then I'm a sports game mark, so I've downloaded most of the EA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's the same thing like 16 times, but
yeah. Which I gotta say, I was in a store the other day, and I happened to be in electronics. I was like, I'm just gonna look at the games. I'm not buying anything because I got Game Pass. But I looked, sports games now are $70.
Still?
Yeah. And I'm like, how are they getting away with that? because sports games are notorious for being the same game every year. What was it? Madden got busted a couple years ago, or maybe even last year, for having the previous year's
didn't change the
graphics still in
year,
it because they hadn't updated it. And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, if that doesn't tell you this is just a recycled game with a new roster and some quote new features, I don't. And then they're like, well, games, it goes a lot of development and a lot of time goes into developing these games. Yeah, from the ground up. So I understand some, if they've been working on it, like Cyberpunk, let's say it was a colossal failure, but they worked on that thing for like 10 years.
Yeah.
It was a really bad launch and all that stuff. But okay, maybe I understand them wanting a little more at launch when you've been working on a game for 10 years. But don't give me that crap where you've been using the same engine and the same animations and all that stuff for the last several years.
It's just
and then
a
you're
port.
like, we
yeah.
need $70. And it's, I'm ignorant. I probably don't understand, but a lot of it probably has to do with licensing as well, because I'm sure each player, I don't know what their deals are, especially like at the NFL level.
Like NFL's collectively bargained with the Players Association, blah blah blah. So
Sure,
you don't control your own image for that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get it. I mean,
I'm sure there's stuff that goes on there as far as the licensing. It's probably on a flat fee for EA to be able to produce a Madden game. So maybe they're just not. I think to me it seems greedy to want to charge more.
Well, it's really funny you mentioned that, because I was actually reading about this. I was doing something stupid, and I was like, did you ever play that game NFL Blitz back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Apparently, and this is a total tangent, but the company that owned NFL Blitz and made it Midway used to have the NFL rights to do a full NFL game, and the NFL was like, this game is not realistic, and it's bad for our image, so they stripped the rights out of Midway and gave them to EA.
Interesting. Yeah, I liked NFL Blitz.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was really fun on the sticks, actually, in like on a freaking machine.
Arcade. I mean, that was what it was. It was arcade style football.
Yeah. And you could like elbow drop people after the whistle,
power bomb them and stuff. It was pretty cool. Late hits and all that. There were no rules. I mean, obviously there were some rules, but it was a lot more Smash Mouth type of, it was like pro wrestling meets football, which that was about the era that the game was released to, was when pro wrestling was, right up there. So I thought I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that was my second favorite game at the arcade, behind that one where you have to hit the basketball to make the hoops.
Yes.
Yeah, I was really good at that. I could make it go through all three at the same time.
Michael, if you had to guess how many subscribers Xbox Game Pass has, just take a shot in the dark. How many would you imagine that number would be?
I'm gonna go with like 12 million.
It's a pretty solid guess. I got an article here from Screen Rant. It is from April 20th, 2021, so earlier this year. Xbox Game Pass hits 23 million subscribers.
Wow.
But apparently, in another email I've got, sorry, not an email, in another article I've got here, the numbers are up. This was from October 20th. Said they had grown the number. It says number of people subscribed to Xbox Game Pass has grown by 37% over the year ending June 30th. But that's a slower growth curve than the 48% goal that they had set for themselves. So they're growing, but not necessarily as fast as they would like, which I feel like it's a pretty good, to me, that's a pretty good grasp of the market.
Yeah, there may be some more, and there may be a tick up now. Sounds like they're running a weird fiscal year to measure their stuff, but with the couple of games that have just come out, mainly Forza, which is a big series that people are into, and then the new Halo game coming out, I think there's going to be an uptick pretty quickly. And then I think as more people get onto the next gen console, I'm assuming at the holidays, if they can get their hands on them.
Still,
the S, there's plenty of S's out there if you want an Xbox Series S. But I think we'll see an uptick. And actually, speaking of Forza, which is the game that I actually legitimately have on the screen next to me here, they are apparently calling that the largest Game Pass launch in the history of Game Pass. And they are at over 10 million players. And that was within 10 days
And
of
that
the
I was
launch.
gonna say it launched what, last week or the
Yeah, I
week
think it was
before?
like the 9th or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's wild. I did not expect that. I think the last couple of Horizons I've not been super impressed with. They're all
Yeah.
kind of the same thing.
I think they're
But
fun, but I burn out pretty quick on them.
yeah, this one's in Mexico, so it's a little different. But um, I thought that was really interesting. I would have thought with something else on Game Pass, maybe maybe GTA or even Red Dead when it was on there would have
I'm
surpassed it.
assuming that Halo is probably going to blow it out of the water when it
Hmm.
comes out, because that's, I know, it's a flagship franchise, and people have been kind of frothing at the mouth for a new one for a while. So much so that they shat all over it when it was, showcased at, I think, last year's, because it was this Halo Infinite, I believe is what it's called, was supposed to be a launch title for the new consoles, the Xbox Series
Oh,
X and the Series S. It was supposed to be, because typically it used to always be, if there was a new Nintendo coming out, there's a Mario game to go with it, because you need that. We got to play that Mario game, so we got to get this new. They would always call it the killer app type thing. You got to have the game that everybody wants to play, so they'll buy the hardware that they can, the only hardware they can play it on. Master Chief was supposed to make his return with Halo Infinite, and they did it at a showcase a few months before the November launch, November 2020, I believe it was, launch of the new Xbox consoles, and people were not impressed at the look of it. They said it did not look next generation, and it did not.
oh,
Yeah, it was. People were pretty disappointed. So, like, all right, you know what? We will take that and we'll delay it and we'll make it. So now they've had another year to really kind of step it up and give people what they want, which now you can actually play via Game Pass. You can go ahead and jump in and play the multiplayer
oh, there you go.
um,
I'll have to add it to my
as a
list.
separate thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we all do it, I'll do it, but I'm not jumping into the new Halo multiplayer by myself, because I am at what you call a noob, and I will get majorly pwned.
Can you enlighten the internet why people squad review and twerk in Halo?
Yeah, I saw. It's interesting. I actually sent that. Speaking this, since this is group chat after dark, I sent a Reddit post to group chat recently, where a younger gamer, I'm assuming, posted a picture that was tagged as "not safe for work" and said, "Why do people twerk over me when I die in Halo Infinite?" And you click the picture, and it's, of course, I think, a red Spartan guy, what we old guys call teabagging,
Yes.
the dead blue guy on the ground, and he calls it twerking. Why are they twerking on me? And all the comments were like, "Wow, you just made me feel really old." Like, obviously you're young. Everybody was jumping on the. No, that's not really what it's called. It's not. They're not twerking. They're not twerking. They're,
Before the age of emotes and
yeah,
before you could do the Travis Scott celebration in Fortnite,
yeah.
the only thing you had to do was squat up and down.
Crouch over the dead body to simulate teabagging. And I will. I don't know if you recall, but the first day we had this Halo Master Chief thing, you and I get to monkeying around in there waiting on the other two, and I killed you. What was the first thing I did?
Of course. Yes.
And you, through many giggles, said, "Wow, that really takes me back."
It really did. It really did. That was a blast from the past. So I'm glad to see it's being kept alive, even though
Well,
I'm
you know
sure
what's
they
funny
have.
is I never even thought about it. I like, it's not something that was in my. It was just that, like, I was also transported back to the early 2000s, where I just killed somebody in Halo. So I'm like, well, this is what you have to do.
Right.
I don't do it in other games. That was part of it. So anyway, but
So
yes, all that aside, you can jump, if you got your Game Pass subscription, you can jump right into the new Halo game roughly about a month before it's going to come out. I don't remember when the release date for it is, but you can play the multiplayer before the full game launches. So it's pretty cool.
I wanted to ask you, as we're kind of putting November to bed here.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about Game Pass so far?
I'll give you my favorite thing, but I'll also give you, I think, something that it has affected me negatively. And I'll start with that. One thing, I love the selection and being able to go through and find things. We already talked about, you kind of have to sift through and find some good stuff to play. But what it's done to me is, if I don't like a game within about 5 minutes,
Yeah.
like, all right, it's gone. But where it used to be, you drop the money on a game, and then you would force yourself to give it more time, because you're like, man, I just paid $60 for this. I can't trade it in for $60. Like, you were kind of so you
LA Noir, cough.
Wow. Which, that's a whole nother sidebar right now with them. But yeah, I found myself, if I'm not grabbed by a game that I downloaded off Game Pass, within about 5 minutes, and I've given myself some more time on them, but usually I'm pretty quick to judge and be like, no, I'm not playing this anymore. Delete and download something else. So that's probably the thing I like the least, just about what it's done to me, as far as how long I'll spend with a game before I make my judgment. But the thing I like the most has been, I mean, to me, and this is going to sound really sappy, but it brought back Xbox night for our group chat. It had been a hit or miss thing, up to that point. It was like, well, because we're all old now and busy and have lives and families. So,
and the games, to be frank, kind of sucked.
Well, and we're not all out spending. We're not all, because what used to be, if we were going to play Xbox, we all had to get together and agree on a game that was coming out that we were willing to spend $60 on collectively. And then we'd play it for 10 years, because we didn't know if there was going to be another game that came out. Like Red Dead Redemption, we played, online together for many years. Grand Theft Auto 5, we played online together for many years. We would always have to, hey, there's a game coming out, I'm interested. Are you three guys interested? Because if so, we can all play it together. But then the investment of $60 up front for a game we may not like. But to me, just having the Xbox night back and being able to try these new games together, that's probably my favorite part of Game Pass. Like I say, it's a good value, I think, and I've had a lot of fun solo with it. But I think that's my favorite part, is especially like right now we're enjoying Back 4 Blood, to get on there and experience something for the first time together and try to figure it out together. That's a lot of fun. It's and again, something that we can do in a couple hours rather than something we have to grind. I don't have the time for that. So anyway, how about you? What's your favorite thing?
Well, no, you took that at an interesting place, and now I sit here and think about it. I kind of have the same line of thinking. So my least favorite part is the fact that up until like this week, you had to download every single game that you wanted to play off of Game Pass. Even though it was free, you still had to download it to some kind of storage.
And you had a terrible streak of not downloading the game before we started Xbox night.
Yeah, the stupid always on feature doesn't seem to work for me. But now apparently they've enabled the cloud, so you can just go in and start playing stuff, which is how I've launched Forza on my Xbox right now. So I'm excited to see where that goes. That will be nice, not to have to hunt down the hard drive that I've got something stored on. But my favorite part is probably just the stupid fun that we've had playing like really dumb games, like this game that I'm pretty sure is just a physics test for other games called Golf with Your Friends. It's a little mini golf game, but some absolute hilarious things have ensued playing that stupid game. That
was our go-to for a while too. When we couldn't find anything, we would just play Golf with Your Friends every week.
I mean, like we wouldn't have that much fun, because like we would have picked Red Dead Online as our game of the choice, and that online experience was not as good as they said it was going to be, and because of that, it was kind of limited as to what we did. We kind of
it was easy to burn out on,
threw people to the alligators and whatever. Which it's weird to think about because I don't know if you remember, but when we played Red Dead Redemption, the first one, we found this hole up in the desert of Mexico that we drove wagons into for like hours on end,
Repeatedly. Yeah.
trying to survive the fall. So I don't know what the difference was, but it just didn't click with that game. But it's been fun to have things like golf with your friends, which is really stupid and silly. But
what about totally reliable delivery service?
now that was hilarious. I really enjoyed that. And also Human Fall Flat, which is a game that I really
enjoyed. Human Fall Flat.
I did not think I was going to enjoy Human Fall Flat. I was like, this is stupid. But I guess the challenge of not having a realistic physics is pretty interesting.
Well, I think the physics are realistic, but the way the characters move is not, because it's like you're like this drunken gelatinous baby, like flailing about and trying to do stuff. And that's, but as far as like the way things interact with each other, I feel like is mostly realistic. But just the challenge of this kind of faceless, mostly shapeless blob tottering
with no
about,
joints.
That's the difficult part, because you definitely look like you're wasted stumbling about trying to solve puzzles. But we've had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I forgot about that till you said it. So no, I think overall it's good. I got a pretty good deal. They were doing some kind of promotion. If you upgraded your Xbox Live, you got a free year of Game Pass or something. So I went ahead and bought like 3 years worth of Xbox Live because I'm always going to use it. So I'm on Xbox or Game Pass Ultimate till like 2026 or something ridiculous.
Mine, I had my Xbox Gold had just renewed, and I started paying for Game Pass I think in July of this year, which I've been doing it since early last year. But I think you can still go buy like an Xbox Live Gold, 2-year subscription or whatever, and do that, and it'll upgrade. You won't pay for both because Gold is included in Ultimate, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
So Gold is not a separate charge once you go Ultimate. But anyway, all that to say, I think we've really enjoyed it. And you know what? Matter of fact, I've enjoyed it so much, I'm going to challenge you right now to a race in Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm gonna beat your ass because I've already beat the
I don't think you are, because you're doing it from the beta cloud version, and I've actually got it downloaded to my hard drive. So I think I'm going to dominate.
Well, we'll see, and we'll update you next month.
Yes.
But I am Todd Scott, and I'm too good.
Wow. That's another reference to our group chat. Normally Mr. Maggum will say he is David Pumpkins and ask you if you have any questions. But sometimes some people decide they don't want to play Xbox. They're too good for it. So now I'm not going to mention any names, but he did. So anyway, we want to thank you once again for joining us here at Group Chat After Dark. We always enjoy having you. You can stay as long as you like. Help yourself. Make yourself a sandwich. Get cozy. Whatever you do. But just don't show up more than once a month. That's all we ask. Anyway, visit us anywhere on the World Wide Web at RideThatDonkeyProductions.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us at ToddSux.com. You can find us at DukeHouston.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Is it Facebook or is it Meta? Whatever Mark Zuckerberg's world-dominating platform is, find us there. Just search Ride That Donkey Productions, and you'll find it. The Twitter, the Insta, all these things. If you search Ride That Donkey Productions, chances are you're going to find us. We don't do TikTok, though, because we don't understand it, and we aren't very good at things. But you can go support our short films. You can listen to our podcast. You can buy stuff with our logo on it. You can find us pretty much anywhere. And with that, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time to be thankful for things, and then get greedy as fuck the next day. And we'll catch you next month on Group Chat After Dark.